sipping and roasting. Yeah, that's what we do. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, make that cherry glow. Whiskey and cigars, the gentleman's cologne.
Cheers, y'all.
422
is a good number.
421 of these. We're now at 422.
It's right past 420, which everyone seems to celebrate.
Yeah, that seems to be a big thing.
It kind of goes by me, and I don't really know it.
Yeah.
But
the thing I find interesting about 420 is that there's kind of this implication. Like when Cinco de Mayo rolls around, everybody's like, okay, this is my day to drink tequila and have margaritas. And right. But like when 420 rolls around, I mean, do you know anybody who smokes weed who goes, oh, it's my day to smoke weed? No, they do that every day. It's not a call to action, as it were. But our show is all about a call to action. We're going to be tasting some fine spirits, some craft beer, and talking about
is that akin
cigars.
to like St. Patrick's Day for the rest of us?
Yeah, exactly. St. Patrick's Day.
It's just more of a public acknowledgement of the fact.
Have you noticed that most really good holidays are about drinking?
Yeah.
Most of them are, you know?
Yeah.
Most of them are.
Yeah, it's Christmas, Valentine's Day,
St. Patrick's Day,
Yep.
Cinco de Mayo,
4th of July,
Arbor Day.
You know what? I was
Labor
thinking about
Day.
that the other day. Do people still celebrate Arbor Day? I don't hear about it as much
I do.
anymore that John Denver's not around.
Here's how I celebrate Arbor Day. I take a bottle of tequila, I go sit under a big tree, and I celebrate Arbor Day.
Okay.
There you go.
That's how it works.
Like that,
But we don't have a big bottle of tequila today, but we will be sampling some craft beers and some spirits. From the spirit category, we're going to be sampling Angostura's 1919 Caribbean rum. And Angostura, if I'm even pronouncing it right, that's the company best known for bitters.
Yes.
And so they have created or blended a deluxe blend, it says, of Caribbean rum. So I thought we'd try that today, and that would be quite interesting. In the craft beer department from North Haven, Connecticut, and Skygazer Brewing Company, we'll be tasting their Watercolors-Abstract 3. It's a Berliner Weisse.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it does sound fun.
Watercolors.
Already my palate is anticipating
Right, I'm starting to
wonderful things.
water at the mouth a little bit.
And then I'm so super excited about this. A collaboration from Broussard, Louisiana, and Austin, Texas.
Oh, come on.
A collaboration between Parish Brewing Company
Come on.
and Jester King.
Oh, my goodness.
It gets better. The name of the beer is Goats in the Machine. It's a double IPA. Goats
in the machine. I love it.
When I first got this beer, I thought, is this a bock? Is the Ghost in the Machine thing, is it doing bocks now instead of just IPAs? But no, it's a double IPA, and it's a collab between Parish and Jester King, already two of our favorite breweries. So very excited about trying this. I think it's going to lead us.
In the machine.
It's going to lead us to wonderful things. And then from Dania Beach, Florida, and the Three Sons Brewing Company, we've had their beers on before, but I'm particularly excited about this one for you, my friend. It's called Fractional BA Kitchen Sink. It is a barrel-aged ale, but basically what we'll find when you take a look at this bottle and start reading it is that they have blended imperial stout and barley wine.
Ooh.
Yeah, into an ale blend, a barrel-aged ale blend. So looking forward to all of that.
That sounds pretty fun.
It's going to be really good. Now,
and it's summer, too, so it's a perfect time for that.
Yep. We'll also be talking cigars on today's show. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, especially those of you who read the title of the show and wonder what's going on, it's finally here. A sign of the apocalypse. The end of days are on us, my friend. This is no conspiracy theory. This is not the Epstein files. This is a real sign that one of the horsemen will soon appear, as described in the book of Revelations in the Bible. There's a new
Is there some ukulele
beer.
music for that? For death?
There's always ukulele. Listen, here's one of the signs of the apocalypse. There's going to be ukulele music everywhere.
In the sign of the apocalypse. Yeah.
But here it is, our sign of the apocalypse. There is, brand new and just released, a new craft beer that has been infused with Malort.
Oh.
Now, I don't have any of it yet, and I'm not sure even how to find it, and I'll explain why.
Because you don't want to find it.
Yeah. But, it's for the sense, the sense of what we do here on the show. We taste things so you don't have to, or so you'll want to maybe later.
This is one of those times where I may regret being this part of the show.
That's right. It's just like I regretted it every time you malorted me. Yeah.
Hey,
I was like,
happened twice, and then I brought in the barrel age, so maybe it's 3 times.
We don't have to keep doing this show, I said to myself. So, but yet we have episode number 442. So, do want to say a big thanks to last week's special guest, Chef David Skinner from Meticulous Spirits. And I just want to point out that not only was he a great guest and brought great spirits, but here we had once again an example of someone who had absolutely no idea what they were in for when the show started.
No idea.
And by the end was like, woohoo,
Yeah.
So he was a lot of fun.
That.
It was a lot of fun.
But so interesting and such good spirits.
We'll talk cigars, including some cigars to watch for. We'll talk about, this is exciting. We've been hearing all the doom and gloom about the craft beer market, how it's now slowing down and receding. The craft beer market is not shrinking. It is, in fact, poised for steady growth, according to a new study, and I will be sharing that with you. But
I'd love to talk about that because I think the model has changed a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's changed a lot, actually, over the last several years. So, anyway, looking forward to...
That's what I meant by a little bit.
Yeah, looking forward to talking about a lot of these things. We will also be bringing you our standard, features here on the show. And, in fact, I think we have a new one. I got to make sure Terry's prepared for this.
We can do it. Yes,
we can do it. Okay.
We'll do it.
All right, so we'll get to that in a moment. But our existing features, we love to bring you a fact that it's good for you to share at drunken parties. We call it the Drunken Fact. And my Drunken Fact teaser headline for you today is... My Wheel of Cheese really likes Kendrick Lamar's latest album. I noticed you went with the minor chord there.
I think that hurt my brain, though. What did you say?
My Wheel of Cheese really likes Kendrick Lamar's latest album.
Okay.
So we'll get to that. And of course, in the second hour of the show, we bring you the feature we call Drinking News. It's where we bring you a story from the news that is sometimes, but not always, about drinking, but is always best enjoyed if you've been drinking. And that's in hour 2 of the show. And our Drinking News teaser headline for today, to try to keep you to stay tuned until then... Don't look, Ethel! Okay, that's a little obscure, but
one of the highlights
of
my career was actually getting to talk to him on the phone.
So I knew Terry would get this. That's a line from The Streak
from
by Ray Stevens.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
the big song from the 70s.
Don't look, Ethel!
I hollered over at Ethel. I said, "Don't look, Ethel!"
But it was too late.
See,
I remember.
I
remember that
incensed.
vaguely. I couldn't quote anything. But...
Over by the tomatoes.
Wait, didn't he have like the lumberjack song?
Oh, he had all. The lumberjack song was Monty Python.
No. It wasn't called the lumberjack song, but no, it was He was talking about like I'm a logger.
Oh yes. There was that one. Yes.
And the squirrel that went berserk in the church.
Yes.
And, there's Ray Stevens.
It all seems tiny town of Pascagoula.
It all seems so silly now, but back then you would wait for the next Ray Stevens.
He was amazing.
Song to come out. Yeah,
amazing.
And then he would occasionally disappoint us all and release like a serious song,
Misty.
right. He did a cover of Misty. It's like too much in love. All right, we got. I think I have to pay royalties now. I apologize. So we got a lot to talk about.
Earl Garner?
A lot to do. But I think we're going to debut. I think we have time for this. We're going to debut a new feature on today's program.
Ooh, do I need another stinger? Do I have to come up with one?
You may need another drink, but yes.
Okay, hold on. Let me get there.
But so we've talked a lot on this show. Just like you just heard a very authentic sound effect there. That was Ian sipping a beer and then enjoying it.
Well, the only way we can get sound effects is if we make them, because the company we work for is so cheap.
Right, that they will not spring for a sound effects library.
Right, and
We've talked about this for 422 episodes.
I have to get all kinds of props for making our authentic sound effects. Like beers.
Right, which we open. That's
which
a
we
real
actually
sound
we
effect.
sacrifice a beer every time you hear that sound. I have to actually take a sip of the beer when you hear me take a sip of the beer.
And you notice when we open a bottle of spirits, if it's like a cork,
Right.
you always kind of like wet the cork and then get the best popping
Get
sound
the little
that you
pop
can.
the best I can. And if I have to run to the restroom, I have a squeak in my shoe. You know, and so I have to wear the right shoes. Like it's every single thing has to have.
Well, I have big news.
Oh, what's going on?
The company finally ponied up for a sound effects library.
What?
So it caused a bit of a dilemma for us here. Because if the company is actually investing in something that, could potentially be used, we don't want to discourage this. We want to encourage it, right? We want
Yes.
to say this is a good thing. So we want to use the sound effects library. And yet I've become extremely fond of the fact that when you open a beer,
It's just like when the company invested in these peanut butter pretzel things.
we didn't want to not eat them.
Right, we want to make sure we eat them so the company understands
That's a
that
good
these are in
investment.
high
How much
demand.
we appreciate.
Exactly.
Yes.
But at the same time, I've grown kind of fond of the fact that when we open a beer, it's a real
It
live
is a real
sound
beer,
effect.
yes.
And I don't want to change that.
And in this show, there's no beer left behind.
So I was
Well,
puzzling.
unless it's really, really bad.
Yeah, right. And there've been a few of those. I was puzzling over how we could do this, how we could put the sound effects library to use without sacrificing the organic nature of
And
things.
we have to use it for good and not for evil.
Right. So the idea that I came up with was a segment called the Smoking and Toasting Sound Effect of the Week. And I've asked Terry to go into the sound effects library, pull out a sound effect. We will play it on the show, and then you and I have to identify what it is. We don't know. Terry has not
So,
shared
so
this
I
with us.
have a question. Were you drinking when you thought of this?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I also want to know where in the show is this going to be placed after at least a little bit of drinking?
Well, I suppose so, but we started with our show beers, the Shiner Box, so we've done a little bit of drinking. So let's try
Wait,
it now.
you haven't
Okay.
started yet?
Let's try. All right, okay. I have them here.
The Smoking and Toasting Sound Effect of the Week. Just
Gee,
pick one.
I can't remember the one that it was here, but here we go. This is gonna
Only
be,
Terry knows what this is going to be.
Yes, here we go. Let's see. Here
Okay.
we go. I'm going to get this. Okay.
Okay, I think I know. That's a body hitting the floor.
It's a body hitting the floor.
Wow. What
Did
are
I-
you, part of the mafia?
Well, did I get it?
You got it.
Okay, play
What?
it
You
again.
didn't even give me a chance.
Got it.
To be honest, I didn't think I was probably right, but
It is a body hitting the floor. It was the funniest thing I thought when I saw it. I was like, because I've used this sound effect now.
I can just say this is not my body hitting the floor because that would have made a louder sound.
It's called Body Fall Big number 2.
Wow. So I apologize. I
You
thought
are way too good
There
at
is
this
also
game.
there is also Body Fall Dirt that is not as easy to.
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
I'd have gotten that one.
Yeah, the Body Fall Big sounded like what it sounded. It should have been Body Fall Floor.
Well, I apologize for not giving you. Honestly, I didn't think I was correct. I thought
right,
you'd
well,
have plenty of chance.
I'll have to
honestly-
get next week's.
I can't believe I thought you weren't. I thought
Next
I
week,
had something.
you
that
guessed
was,
first.
Wow, I even had like clues planned and everything.
It was a very inauspicious debut
Wow,
of the.
that was.
of the
You were really good at that. Next week we're gonna put something in a can and see.
yeah,
if
you got to come up with something more difficult, Terry, than body hitting the floor. I have watched far too many police procedurals. Okay.
You've been watching Matlock.
Yeah, that's right. Plus, one of my favorite songs is "Let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor." So
That's
you know,
funny because
I'll
you said
have
that's
to
one of your favorite
okay.
songs.
Yeah, that's why it's
now
funny.
I'll have to step that up there.
All right,
I
yeah.
thought that was gonna be a great one.
Terry, this is your challenge. Yeah, you got to make this harder. All right. Since we've dispensed with that, I guess we're actually just about out of
Oh,
time
yes,
for
we
this
are out of
for
time
this
for
segment. But we'll take a break and we'll be back with Stuff to Do, the beverage of mystery. Find out what Ian had to smoke this week and start doing some tasting. And I'm very excited about Watercolors-Abstract 3, the Berliner Weisse. We'll get to that soon. It's Smoking and Toasting. Body hitting the floor. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, hand-rolled cigars, and bodies hitting the floor. Welcome back to the show. It is time for that segment where we bring you a.
I have a whole story for that. Can I hear that? Can I hear that sound effect one more time?
Oh yeah. Here
right
we
You have
go.
a body hitting the floor story?
Body.
I've just created a whole scenario here. You ready?
All right.
Yeah, toss it right down there in that bag.
That's good. That's good.
All right, take him outside, buddy.
Reminds me of the old like radio theater days, you know?
Yes.
Well,
That's
we
the
should
fun
do like
stuff.
a special edition, a smoking and toasting radio theater.
Yes, yes.
Ian and
This
Cruz
will be-
go to.
you ever watch Drunken History? It's going to be a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
It'll be
that
called
would-
Murder at the Distillery. I like it. All right, it's time
Don't
to do
get me
the.
started on sound effects now.
It's time to right. Yeah, you got to save some of those for the feature for the upcoming shows. All right, it's time to do the beverage of mystery, or as we like to call it, the beverage of mystery.
When it's said in that voice, it's so much bigger.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Sounds important.
The beverage of mystery is where one of us will bring in a beverage of some sort, often a seltzer or maybe a cider, maybe
Something
a canned
interesting.
cocktail. Something interesting. The only person who knows what it is the person what brung it. We all sample and then we reveal. And so I brought it today, so I know what this is. But Terry and
I
Ian,
noted the nose is very
This-
confusing to me.
This smells like vodka and watermelon Kool-Aid.
Okay.
it definitely has the watermelon Kool-Aid
Yeah,
thing
definitely.
going.
Yeah.
What about the aftertaste?
I haven't tried it yet, but it smells like vodka.
It tastes like.
Oh, it tastes like watermelon Kool-Aid.
It does taste like watermelon Kool-Aid, but
But
a
a
little
very
something in
Oh,
it.
there's a little
Very
tartness to the end. Oh,
Oh yeah.
it's sweet and tart. Mm-hmm. I don't get a nasty like fake sugar aftertaste.
I get a big what is that, vodka or something? I do
Do
get
you
a
like
vodka or tequila type.
Do you like it?
I could
I
see
think
this
this is-
being a margarita if on the can. Like I
Oh
could see
yeah,
this
like
being
it's a
margarita.
limerita or something.
Yeah, like a strawberry limerita on
watermelon margarita thing.
Yeah.
Well,
So like it's not as bad as some of the things we brought in here. It doesn't have the offensive. Just on the aftertaste, it doesn't have the offensive fake sugar aftertaste. But I just noticed that that's not a vodka. It's tequila kind of.
the can. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
After,
Tequila,
there's a little
maybe
agave kind of going on in
margarita
there.
kinda.
all right. So, I guess you guys actually are doing about as well on this as I did on the bodies hit the floor sound effect because you're getting real close. So I guess Ian, you may have a question for me.
Is that a beverage of mystery in your pocket, or are you just happy to be here today?
I'm so happy to be here, and I have the beverage of mystery in my pocket, and it is a Jose Cuervo ready to drink strawberry lime margarita
Wow.
Well,
in a wonderful plastic bottle that
can
makes
I-
me feel very classy.
Can I say, for Jose Cuervo, they have been making stuff like ready-to-drink margaritas for as long as I have been allowed to
Much
buy
longer
alcohol.
than the
I
current
mean,
cocktail craze.
Yes, exactly. Like
sure.
they've been doing it. I remember in the '90s being able to go in and buy they had one called Blue Moon Margarita. And it was a blue one, and for some reason it tasted wonderful. It looked like toilet water, but
Did it taste
tasted
blue?
Yes, it did.
so I'm going to go ahead and say, because you asked, do I like it? I wouldn't order a strawberry lime margarita in the first place. So it's not really my bag. This, however, doesn't have the bad aftertaste that a lot of these have, and it's way too sweet for me. But all that
Yeah.
being said, this is better than most.
I will say, for me, this tastes very much like you bought some Jose Cuervo or some other lime strawberry margarita mix,
Margarita mix, yeah.
and then poured really cheap tequila into it.
yeah.
That's what because it doesn't have that. Like I've had a strawberry margarita before that was just wonderful that a bartender made and used maybe a little better tequila in and probably used fresh strawberry juice and some other things like that. Certainly fresh lime juice. And I will say, by the way, big secret: if you use mix to make a margarita, I know you're not supposed to and all that, but a way to keep that from just tasting all prefabbed is, in addition to the mix, squeeze a lime into it.
Yeah, a real
actual lime on top of the mix and the tequila, and I'm telling you, it'll do wonders for your margaritas.
Really bring it alive.
Yeah. But all right, but there you go. That's your beverage mystery.
That's not bad.
So for what it is, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's too sweet for me.
No, yeah, I get it. The too sweet. Like you wouldn't be able to drink 5 of those in a row. But at the same time, that's a good option.
You know what it reminds me of? How much I like beer.
I will, yeah. Well, there's that. Okay, but I will also tell you that if I walked into the convenience store, and every once in a while you walk into this convenience store where they literally only have the macro brews, right?
Right.
But they had a 4-pack. I'm assuming this comes with a 4-pack. They had a 4-pack of these next to it. I might pick this and pour it over ice.
Yeah.
Over, like, say, a Bud Light.
Yes.
Yeah, I can go with that.
Yeah.
I can go with that, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like
Definitely.
my manhood would stay more intact.
Yeah, I'm not sure though.
My integrity would be more.
Is that real tequila though? Do you have to go to the liquor store?
I
for that?
believe it is, and you
that's
probably
actual
would
real
have
Oh
to
tequila.
yes,
at a liquor store.
tequila.
Yeah.
Tequila made with Jose Cuervo tequila and triple sec.
So your statements are dependent on what state you're living in.
I would also say, hey man, it's 19.9 proof too.
Yeah.
Really? Holy moly.
Wow.
So the
Right.
first one you're like it's fruity. The second one you're like it's fruity. By the fourth one you're like it's fruity.
That's why they don't sell them in 6-packs. All right. We have to take a break. We will get to Ian's cigar review next, I promise. In fact, we'll do that right out of the gate. Well, right out of the gate, we'll probably do the Drunken Fact. And then we'll get to Ian's cigar
It's going to
review.
happen somewhere.
It'll happen, I promise. It's Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. And of course, we have some ongoing features that we bring to the table. The drinking news and the drunken fact and the beverage of mystery and the sound effect. But one of the things I try to do, it's not really a standing feature. One of the things I'm determined to do, though, is stump Terry with some pop culture reference at some point in the future.
Someday.
And so far, I have not been able
You're
to
going
do
to have
it.
to dig real deep, buddy.
Dude, if you could ever do like the pop culture, like edition of Trivial Pursuit, you would totally rule. I'm just saying, he knows it all, man.
He's
This guy who's been
unstoppable.
paying attention. Time now for one of those features we like to do on the regular, ladies and gentlemen.
And now it's time for another Smoking and Toasting Drunken Fact.
And this is one of those features that we do just so we have an excuse to continue to play that fanfare.
Yes.
So, our drunken fact for today, and this is true, by the way, cheese wheels love hip hop. If you
They
play
like love them?
if you play music to a cheese wheel, the tunes will affect its flavor.
What?
Yes. It's kind of like when they play Metallica to like the
whiskey?
blackened whiskey bottles
Yeah,
or
but
barrels.
is this like when the cheese wheel's being made, or is this
It's when the
after
cheese wheel's being stored.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
right?
okay. When
So if
the-
you play
okay.
music to a cheese wheel, the tunes will affect its flavor. Cheese wheels have the strongest flavor when they've listened to hip hop.
Wow.
A 2019 study played classical, rock, electronic, and hip hop to cheese wheels. The hip hop wheel had a stronger flavor and aroma than the other cheeses. And
Because it
appar-
had street cred.
Yeah, that's right. And apparently, by the way, if you play Michael Bolton to your cheese, it becomes confused and turns into cottage
Wow.
cheese. So there's
But Public Enemy adds
Yeah.
Flavor Flav.
So there we go. Okay, we got to talk about cigars. Ian, do you have an opportunity to smoke anything interesting
I'm
this
still
week?
reeling from that last one. I went out on my patio last night with a Zeno Nicaragua.
Nice.
I haven't had a Zeno in quite a few years,
I
actually.
haven't either. I used to smoke Xenos.
The
you know, every once
Platinum
in
and
while.
a few others. Yeah, they're quite good overall. Some of them can be a little pricey. This one was not terribly pricey, though. This was a 6x50 Toro, the Zeno Nicaragua with Ecuadorian wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, Dominican, Nicaraguan, and Honduran filler. The appearance, medium brown wrapper, smooth with some veins, quite oily and leathery, single gold band with the big Z on it, and said Nicaragua right underneath it. Pre-light sniff, barnyard and earth, pepper at the foot. Really pretty simple overall, actually. I used a V-cut, had a medium draw to it, sweet creamy chocolate and salty leather on the lips with the pre-light sniff. The initial light had a Nicaraguan pepper breeze.
Actually, I'm surprised to get Nicaraguan pepper anything out of a Xeno because I'm used to them being a little bit lighter in body.
This was I think because it's got Nicaraguan in the filler and in the binder. So I was expecting actually a little bit more, but this one came in at like a breezy medium
I
minus.
see what you did there.
Nicaraguan pepper breeze, and it was nice. It was a good flavor. Some salty leather underlying mocha, and the retrohale is peppery and sweet. The first third of this cigar coming in with pepper and a bit of chocolate with a salty tang, sweet with a touch of bitter on the tip of the tongue, slight tingle on the lips. Retrohale is peppery and woody, solid ash, perfect burn. Now I'm going to say pepper a lot in this particular cigar review, but I do want you to understand. This is not big, super bold pepper.
Not
this
a
is
pepper bomb.
It's not a pepper bomb. This just has the flavor of pepper, and there's a little bit of spice to it, but it's not. Don't let that turn you off. If you like cigars that are a little sweeter or aren't super peppery, this is going to be a fine cigar for you because the pepper that's in it is friendly.
Okay, friendly pepper.
Yes, it's friendly pepper.
like
Even
it.
on the retrohale, it's pretty friendly, right?
Yeah.
The proposed pairing, craft pilsner or blonde ale, I think, with this cigar.
Nice.
Sweet rum or maybe even a cognac would be really nice with this one. The second third of this had a little bit of a meatier quality, like nuts and coffee kind of stuff going on. Black pepper shift towards white pepper or slightly cayenne even at the back of the palate. Underlying creamy chocolate and a bit of salt rounds out the palate. Retrohale is white pepper and woody with a touch of nuttiness. Solid ash, perfect burn.
Nice.
Like, this thing burned perfectly. The last third is pepper backs off even more. Sweet mocha and salty toast are coming in. Nutty and spicy notes all through the palate. Retrohale is sweet and woody. Solid ash, perfect burn. I believe this comes in at $9-ish.
Okay.
It's not a particularly expensive cigar. At $9, you get a solid $5. This is a good cigar.
Nice.
And if you're someone who likes the mild to medium cigars, pick this one up. It's got some interesting flavors, and there's a lot of pepper flavor to it, but it's probably almost more of a chocolate and toasty kind of and nutty kind of bomb than anything else.
Cool. You know, Zeno, for a period of time, became the cigar that was kind of like connected to like the hip hop community, like the music moguls.
Jay-Z used to smoke them all the time. Yeah.
I think Diddy used to smoke Zeno, so you can see why they've moved away from that association. but they also
Goes well with
baby
oil.
They also were very pricey, and I thought at that time very overpriced, just simply because it was more of a status thing to like the music community. But I think now they've come back into the reality. Now that maybe that has faded a little bit, they've come back into the reality of going, okay, we got to find our audience again, find our customer base again.
Well,
and it sounds like doing it with this cigar is a good way
this
to
one
go.
was on the lower of the medium side when it comes to strength, but I would buy this again.
Yeah?
Like if I just happen to see it, it's probably one I'd on a whim just go, I'm gonna grab another one of those.
That sounds like a way to go. All right, let's get into some beer here. This is authentic beer opening sound effect happening here, not from Terry's Music Library, and that was pretty good, by the way.
I stretched that one out.
That was really nicely done. We're going to be tasting a Berliner Weisse here. It is called Watercolors-Abstract 3, and it is from Skygazer Brewing in North Haven, Connecticut.
The label on this is brilliant.
Yeah? It's just got that beautiful like pastel watercolor vibe going to it. Yeah, I love it. By the way, while Ian is pouring, I would just like to mention that Smoking and Toastin' is heard every week on great radio stations like WICC AM, Bridgeport, Connecticut, KFNK FM, ESPN Radio, Houston, Texas, and 96.9 Radio Melrose, Roanoke, Virginia. And now, back to the countdown.
We have a radio station called KFNK.
KFNK.
K-Funk, baby.
K-Funk.
KFNC.
And I don't. You're,
I thought it was KFNC.
You were so right. I had that wrong. It is KFNC.
It's
but
still
it's
K-Funk.
still K-Funk.
K-Funk.
It's still K-Funk.
K-Funk either way.
Yeah, exactly.
K-Funk either way.
This changes nothing.
Yeah. K-Funk. And they don't even call themselves that. Wouldn't that be the perfect set of call
I
letters?
don't even
for
care.
Like
I don't even
a
care if you play
rhythmic
I
station?
don't even care if you play country. You got to call it K-Funk.
K-Funk, yeah.
K-Funk. I actually at one time worked for KCAR, K-Car, and they were like, "Yeah, don't call it that. Just call it KCAR." And I'm like, "Really, like all the promos you can make with get in the car." But no.
My first job in radio was at a Christian station, and we would in the summer we would have like college kids that would come home from going to college around the country, and some of them would apply like for a weekend job or whatever. Yeah. And we hired this one kid who had gone to, I think the name of his college was something like Southern Union College, and so his campus station Their call letters were
no,
KSUC.
KSUC.
I was like, seriously, dude, you worked at KSUC? I wouldn't think they'd even allow you to have those call letters. But anyway, I digress.
Wow.
We prefer to call it Case Such.
Yeah.
Ian, what does it say about this beer on the can? I know.
Well,
there's
first off, I don't know. Did you nose this beer yet?
Oh boy,
It smells like when you walk into Smoothie King.
yeah. I was going to say when you walk into like one of those ice cream stores where they have all the different flavors of ice cream,
yeah.
then you're smelling all the different flavors at
I
once.
think between the two of us, you're getting the point on
Yeah.
this.
Like crumble cookie, actually.
This says Berliner Weiss, Berliner style Weiss beer with banana, strawberry, orange, marshmallow, and milk sugar.
And boy, is that all in there.
Yes, it
It's
is.
really
So
good.
the
When
first
you
thing
go back
get,
to Smoothie King on that one, yeah.
yeah.
the first thing you get is banana, which like most smoothies, right?
Yep.
Banana is
Yep.
like the smoothie ingredient.
And strawberry right
And
behind it.
strawberry, yep.
Strawberry and what would
Strawberry
you?
banana.
Strawberry, banana, lime. Is there lime?
Orange,
Orange, that's what I'm
marshmallow,
getting, orange.
and milk sugar.
Wow,
Yeah,
this
orange.
is almost like
You get a little
milkshake,
citrusy. You get a little citrusy kind of feel from this because of the sour of the beer. You know, because
The
Berliner Weiss
sour
is just
comes
sour.
on
to
right
begin
at the right as soon as you feel all the fruit, then you get a sour.
And it's funny because it almost has a smoothie mouthfeel until
It
you take
really
that
does.
sip, and then it
Right.
crisps up, and then the sour crushes the milk and sugar kind of feel.
right. So it's like a milkshake when it's still before you've swallowed it, and then afterward it's like total Berliner Weiss vibe.
Yeah.
This is really one of the most interesting beers I've ever tasted. That I never thought a beer could be this close to a
Ian,
smoothie.
show off that can because
Yeah,
the
can's really cool.
The can basically tells you what this is going to taste like very accurately. I think
Yeah.
it really does. Of any beer can I've ever seen, this describes the beer the best. Just
It's
visually.
very friendly pastel-y.
It is. I like it. I would wear a shirt like that. That would be totally cool.
Yes.
Watercolor. I totally see why they call it watercolors.
And then the
Skygazer
Skygazer Brewing Company there's a satellite pointed towards the sky right in the middle of the watercolor picture.
You know, that's just delicious. I mean,
It really is.
it's got a tartness to it that's just wonderfully crisp.
Yes.
It's almost like an
now,
apple tart.
I will
on the-
point out that I don't know if I would do an entire. This is a 16-ounce can.
Yeah.
Or a 1 pint can, but I don't know that I'd do the entire can myself. But split between at least two people, I think this is a wonderful treat.
You know,
Agreed.
I normally agree on that one, but just because for some reason I like smoothies and things like that, I think I would do one of the cans. I think I would do the whole can.
I
on
think
that
you
one.
also have a little sweeter palate than I have
do.
as well.
I
so
do.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
probably
I
true.
do.
Yeah, but any way you slice it, this is really good.
it's really nice.
It
yeah.
really
It's
is
really
good.
good.
It's funny how like I said, it's so banana right up front, and then you take a sip, and then that milk hits it,
Mm-hmm.
and it really does give it a smoothie-like vibe.
It's almost got like some sort of a
The milk
I don't
sugar,
know.
sorry.
I don't know how long if y'all drink a lot of boba tea or anything like that, but you know my girl loves to drink. My little girl loves to drink boba tea. All the girls say like, oh, it's boba tea. That has that kind of the milk tea vibe that they have in there. It really is.
I haven't had boba tea, but when I was a kid, I used to pretend I was Boba Fett. Is that a similar? Kind of thing?
Yes.
So
you know, I still have
you used to practice shooting lasers and missing things.
Yes, that's exactly what I did.
I still have an Admiral Akbar mask as well. From
Isn't he
Halloween.
the one that's like, pull the ships around?
Yes,
the
that's
yeah,
it, yes.
that's great. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Best character ever in a sci-fi movie.
That's right.
It's a trap. I love it. I love it. Tell you about my cigar for this week while we still have a couple of moments, but I will take just a little
Oh,
more
yes, sir.
of that watercolors. This week I enjoyed the Casa Carrillo, or EP Carrillo, Endure, the box-pressed Toro. EP Carrillo has always been one of my favorite cigar companies, and they recently changed their name to Casa Carrillo, which now matches their legendary tobacco farm, which is called Casa Carrillo. So the Endure line is relatively new, and I smoked the Toro size, a 6x52 box press cigar that features a Cameroon wrapper along with Nicaraguan binder and fillers. Now, Cameroon wrappers are not necessarily known for being particularly smooth or beautiful, but this one was not bad looking at all. I used a V-cut to open it up for the cold draw, got some sweetness, leather, and a note that reminded me of a Coca-Cola, or maybe more accurately, of those little wax candies they had when I was a kid that were shaped like cola bottles, and then when you bit into them, you got the liquid inside, which was kind of cola tasting.
Yes.
I knew you would.
Delicious.
And then you realize that it was literally just wax around it.
Wax and
It was
sugar.
just wax,
yeah,
and
wax
then
and
just
sugar.
like a little,
Baking spice and earth were the first notes I got after I lit the Endure and took my first few puffs. There was no Nicaraguan pepper blast, although I did start getting some pepper on the palate after the cigar kind of settled in. The initial third rounded out with a hint of semi-sweet chocolate, just like the chocolate chips my mama used to make cookies with. I don't get to eat cookies these days because of how much sugar that they have, so it remains a fond but distant memory. Kind of like my third date with Cindy Porter back when I was in high school. But that's not important right now. The flavor profile, that's what I was talking about. I really loved the way that the flavors worked together for the Endure. And as the cigar smoked into the second third, the Cameroon sweetness kind of inched back to the surface. Pepper became more noticeable on the retrohale, and a bit of nuttiness for good measure, along with the earthy notes. Final third, the base remained sweet, but white pepper danced on the tongue in a very enjoyable way. The nuttiness I mentioned a moment ago was still there, very pleasant, and the overall experience was quite complex and enjoyable. The Casa Carrillo Endure clocked in at medium strength and body, maybe notching up to medium full by the last third. Draw was perfect, and the burn line was damn near perfect. In my experience, that is not always the case with Cameroon wrappers, so big props to this cigar for excellent construction. It's a great cigar if you like a combination of spicy and sweet, and I would recommend it pretty highly. That said, it's a $19 cigar, which, to be honest, I'm too cheap to buy on a regular basis. Fortunately, my friend Ian is not as cheap as I am, and he gave me this one, for which I thank you, sir.
Oh, you're welcome.
You are a gentleman and a scholar. Well, you're a gentleman. While I doubt I would buy a box of these because of the price, I have to say I would feel okay about buying a single or two from time to time, even at almost $20. The flavors were unique, bit of a departure from what I usually smoke, but I loved it. So at $19, I'm going to give it a 5.
That's exactly what I gave it.
Honestly, would not be disappointed if I had paid for this. And since I didn't, by the way, it was even better. Grab one of these or two for a celebration or a special occasion cigar, like after your third date with Cindy Porter. 5, price to quality. Going to take a break. We'll be right back, and we'll remind you what the price to quality scale is all about. Plus, we have more to taste. It's Smoking and Toasting. That sounded distinctly like a Goats in the Machine being opened.
I got a little bit of the Goats in the Machine in my eye there.
There's worse things to happen to you. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. And while Ian is pouring what I can only guess is going to be a fantastic beer.
I mean, Jester King and Parish Brewing, come on.
Let me tell you about one that you should beware of. Now, I got to hand it to our friends at Voodoo Ranger and New Belgium Brewing, because these people are willing to take chances and do crazy stuff. And the fact is, they're one of the biggest now and most widely distributed craft breweries in the United States.
Voodoo Ranger was a big departure for them in the first place.
Well, it was, because their big beer for many years was Fat Tire.
And dude, when you find Fat Tire and it's fresh,
oh yeah.
Like a fresh keg.
And Fat Tire is
so good.
It's also so good with cigars because it has a chocolatiness to it.
And a pretzel-y kind of breadiness
and it's just
to it.
wonderful with cigars. But Voodoo Ranger was their, first was just the name of their IPA. And then they turned the Voodoo Ranger IPA into an entire line. There are so many different iterations of Voodoo Ranger, and I love buying one of their mix packs and just being excited about what's in it, because I'm going to like them all, but there may be new ones that I haven't tried. Well, the latest thing that they have done at Voodoo Ranger and at New Belgium is they have infused a Voodoo Ranger IPA with Malort.
Oh, God.
But here's the crazy part. It almost sounds like something we would do. All right? The author of the article that I'm reading from about this, Christian D'Andrea from forthewin.com, he says, thus, we now live in a world where Malort isn't just the shot you avoid until your Chicago-adjacent buddies bully you into drinking one. It's also,
well said, sir.
It's also in a six-pack of otherwise enjoyable IPAs. And the twist...
Of otherwise enjoyable.
Right. And the twist, beyond dropping a liquor that tastes like moss learned how to vomit into a perfectly good beer, Only one beer in the pack is tainted with the Chicago Glory, and you have no idea which one it is.
Oh, it's a game.
Really?
It's like the
Yep.
jelly beans bamboozled. One tastes like boogers and one tastes like farts, but the other ones taste like cherries and strawberries.
So
Wow.
it's Voodoo Ranger X Malort. It's Roulette IPA, is what they call it.
Roulette.
Roll
so
the
it's
dice.
not every roulette IPA. You might get the one.
You roll the dice, the article says, and you've either got an 83% chance of a normal, perfectly solid pale ale, or a 17% shot to get one that someone dropped a peppermint coated in motor oil and hair into. The author goes on to say, "This seems harsh on Malort. Do not feel bad for them. They know what they did."
So nothing you can do will make Malort stop being sold because apparently it's just there, even at this.
So the author of this article, which is great, read it for the win.
Amazing.
It's hilarious. The author of the article goes on to say that he got a six-pack, and then he says, "God bless, this was the very first beer I picked. Every can looked the same, with zero indicator of the contents within. I made it a point not to smell it beforehand, and yep, peppermint, motor oil, and burnt hair. At first, you think it's a regular beer, and then you are harshly reminded that it is not."
Quickly disabused of that notion.
He says, "I will give it credit where it's due. It works a little better than expected. It smells like something a doctor in a plague mask would rub on your stomach to assuage the humors causing your gout. It tastes like sandpaper feels. But there's something about the earthen quality to it that isn't terrible. It's not good, certainly, but feels like it's better than it has any right being. It works with the bitterness of the hop instead of fighting against it." So,
Wormwood.
and he goes on
Malort.
to close out his article with something that reminds me of when you and I did the taste test with the
With the whiskey.
no, not with the whiskey. We did with the
Buzzballs?
no, the beers, the terrible cheap
The malt liquor.
malt liquor.
Oh,
Thank you.
yes,
I don't know why I
malt
couldn't
liquor.
call that to mind.
Because you're trying to block it from your mind.
That's why. In my mind, I've shut it out. He said it's a walking nightmare unto itself. I should not be allowed around people. But he says each burp, however, is a walking nightmare. A waking nightmare, I'm sorry, unto itself. And that does remind me of
you ever
that
had-
malt liquor.
have you
Oh,
ever
my God.
Have you ever drank vodka Red Bulls all night? The next day, every burp is a vodka Red Bull. Like, you get to enjoy it all brand new.
It's
And it is.
horrible.
Oh, it's bad.
I think we may have some somewhat enjoyable beer here, though. We are now, after talking about a terrible one, and by the way, buy that six-pack at your own risk. I mean, I kind of think we should get one, and that should be the whole
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Like drinking through the entire room, drinking through a six-pack, and waiting to
Until
find the
someone-
Malort beer.
yeah.
But I would almost hope we wouldn't find it at first, because that could keep the
Oh, that's funny. Yes,
anticipation
it'd be the
going.
And I'm
Roulette.
almost certain that Cruz would end up with it
Oh,
somehow.
we're all going to share. When this happens, we'll all share each beer. But we're sharing one now that I have much higher hopes for. It's a collaboration between two of our favorite breweries, Jester King in Austin, Texas, and Parish Brewing in Broussard, Louisiana. Their Ghost in the Machine series is some of the best IPA available to anyone
This
ever.
has the hoppy smell that's almost like weed.
Yes, I agree. It's almost like
It's almost like marijuana. It's just interesting that there are a couple hops that kind of have that nose to it.
and there's a tiny bit of that on the finish. Not enough to it's like a hop bitter with just this little tinge of what it might smell like if someone close to you were smoking weed.
I mean, I work at a music store a couple days a week, so it's like what some people smell like when they walk in.
Mm-hmm. And they go, "Hi, how are you doing?"
50%.
I'd like to look at your guitar.
It's more like it's more like my guitar was supposed to be done 3 days ago. I dropped it off yesterday.
Tell me about this beer, Goats in the Machine.
Well, in the last couple seconds we have here, it has that slight marijuana note to the nose, but it is big, it's bold, and it's sweet, actually.
It's actually really well balanced, all things considered. I think it's fantastic. I have loved every single one of the Ghost in the Machine series and their variants.
I love how bitter it gets on the outside of the tongue after you
know what?
take a swallow.
It's bitter, but it's not that pine cone bitter.
No,
that,
it's not resinous.
Yeah,
Not at
right.
all.
It's just bitter in a almost like an ESB sort of a way.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah,
I would
really
agree
good.
with that.
We'll talk more about it when we come back, and hour 2 is on the way, which will include drinking news. You, my friends, have been warned. It's Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back. It is Smoking and Toasted. That music, by the way, is by one of the coolest bands in our hometown of Houston. They are called The Suffers, and their music is amazing, and they're amazing live, and they call what they do Gulf Coast Funk. And
I love
they're
that.
or Gulf Coast Soul, I think, actually.
Gulf Coast
But,
Soul, it's
yeah.
real good.
But they're just absolutely fantastic. And thanks to them for letting us use their music. I was watching some videos on YouTube this week about different guys who do countdowns of like the best songs of a particular year or whatever. And they're really interesting guys. One guy's the professor of rock, and there's
Rick
Beato, and they're all talking about the fact that they're having to fight
Taylor Hawkins.
Yep, they're having to fight these constant legal battles over using like 5-second snippets of music in their YouTube videos.
Which is legally free use.
That's of course that's what their claim is, and that's what their lawyer says. But they're having to constantly fight over major record labels and people trying to sue them and trying to take
Interesting.
away their profits and stuff. So
Interesting.
Well, that's
I just
the whole thing. The whole thing about that is from the side of the record labels. They want to flag everything they possibly can, every single thing possible. They want to basically crush your will to bother with it.
And so before this show was on radio, where, by the way, our individual affiliate stations all pay for the right to broadcast whatever music they broadcast. So we're
Exactly.
covered by that. But before the show was on radio, it was a podcast. It still is a podcast. We are still on YouTube. And we have, a pretty sizable audience when you put all of that together. And we have been challenged before by the YouTube police. But I will just say, every single bit of bumper music you hear on the show, we have clearance from the owner of the master recording to be able to play their music as our bumper music on this show. And this goes back to my early days of podcasting, where I did a podcast music show. And believe me, the whole reason I stopped doing it was it just took forever to get clearances from stuff. 'Cause
Yeah, you can't.
You're
Yeah, you
emailing
can't.
back and
Yeah,
forth,
yeah.
and
Now
people-
on a
so-
lot of news talk stations, like which we also are on there, if
Yes.
you are talking about whatever it is, the song, if you're not just playing it for entertainment, if you're actually talking about the song, usually over the song, then that then constitutes it being okay, because it's more of a news report than actually
which is
talking.
what these YouTube
That's what the free
Yeah,
use
exactly
is.
what they are.
Absolutely.
It's just that they're not on news talk stations like we are all across America.
and but
Well,
but
they
again,
also were arguing too. Like, not only are we talking about the song, which is promoting the song,
Yes,
making people go back
that's
and
the
listen
point.
to that song and all that. But they're fighting us on all of that.
Yeah. I hadn't listened to My Sharona in years until I chanced across it on like one of those things, and I was like, don't. Yeah, I gotta go hear that,
Yeah, exactly.
So they got one listen from me.
My Bologna.
Yeah, I had listened to that probably more than I'd listened
Yeah,
to
exactly.
the original. Just wanted to mention this beer again because we kind of tasted it late in the segment last hour. This beer, I think, is an incredible IPA, and I guarantee you it's going to be a limited time, because while Ghost in the Machine, the regular kind of flagship IPA, continues to be available, most of these offshoots that they do are limited beers, and I would guess this one is. So if you live somewhere where you can get either Texas or Louisiana beers, make sure you are demanding that your local liquor store gets this beer in, because it is completely
These
and
are
totally
fantastic.
worth it. They just do such a great job of balancing their IPAs. We talked about how Voodoo Ranger had done that great job until they came along and spoiled it with Malort. But these guys at Parish Brewing and at Jester King have also done a great job. And they don't just do IPAs, by the way. Jester King in particular has done some amazing sours and some amazing, bigger beers.
Oh yeah, they do.
that we've
So
covered.
Jester King's generally known for big beers, big outrageous beers. Whether it is a sour or whether it's a stout or some of the other bigger styles.
Well, all I have to say is, if you can find Goats in the Machine, buy
do
it. Buy
wild ales too, and
buy
stuff
as
like
many
that.
as you can. They do a lot of wild ales, which is really cool. So we're trying an interesting spirit on the show today. It is not an expensive one, particularly for a Caribbean rum. Caribbean rums can run you, depending on what you buy, can be relatively expensive. But I thought we'd try one of the cheaper ones, and it's made by Angostura, the people that make bitters. That's what I guess they're best known for.
Yeah. So when you have anytime you're making a mixed drink and you put bitters in there, you're probably reaching for the Angostura.
In fact, a lot of recipes for cocktails that ask for bitters specifically say Angostura bitters. And they make all different kinds, by the way. If you go stand in the aisle, like at your local Specs or whatever your store
Orange
is.
bitters, walnut bitters,
all
maple
kinds of,
bitters.
they're all very interesting.
Kinds of crazy
and
stuff.
can be used for all different kind of cocktails. So I thought I'd see what their take on
and to help
Caribbean
correct
rum.
your humors as well.
Yeah, which is good to know. I thought we'd see what their take on Caribbean rum is. It's not expensive, but it is a blend.
It smells not expensive. I'm going to go ahead and point that out.
Have you taken a sip
No, I
yet?
haven't taken a sip yet, but it has a little bit of that
Agreed.
When you say
kind of not expensive.
yeah,
kind
when
of,
you say not expensive, can you elaborate?
it smells not super refined.
I want to say this is under $25.
So, but I haven't tried it yet, so I'm just going by nose. But it has that kind of thing.
Well, I have to tell you, at the price point, I'm not disappointed at all.
Yeah, it's not tasting. It's not coming in.
It's not the
clonking
best
bad.
rum
No.
I've ever had by
No.
any means.
No.
But I got to tell you, at a
Hard pass.
really? Okay, so talk to me.
Hard pass. It's
talk to me.
rough.
What is it about it that makes it?
It's right. It leaves my mouth with a film of like cardboard. It tastes like cardboard.
Like a peppermint covered in hair dunked in motor oil?
It tastes like cardboard that was dragged across the concrete where my.
It most certainly does not taste expensive.
Here's
You're
a
right
question:
about that.
is this the only spirit that this company makes? Do they make other spirits, or is this just the one you found?
They actually make several other rums. This is the rum that I
so
chose.
rum is what they.
But
this is the only thing other than bitters.
I was in the rum aisle, so
Yeah.
this is the only one I saw. But they may make other spirits
I
as
didn't know
well.
if they made a vodka or something.
Upon my second sip, I have to say, even harder pass. It's
Really?
This is rough, baby.
Really, that's just so interesting
Rough.
because I don't
This is-
love it.
Like my dog says, rough.
Angostura, by the way, is an aromatic bitter bark from South America, from South American trees, used as a flavoring and formerly a tonic.
Oh, that's what I'm tasting. That's what it's doing to my
yeah,
tongue.
That is what you're tasting.
My
that
God.
does sound like
When you
it.
go to the Angostura website, all you see is bitters.
Nearly 200 years of our experience is captured in this blend of rums from the tropical islands of Trinidad and Tobago.
Wow.
With a bouquet of cocoa, coconut, and vanilla.
Okay, do they make it or do
I
they
didn't
just
get
blend
any
it?
of that, by the way, in there.
No, they blended it.
Okay.
Cocoa, coconut, and vanilla. We believe that you will drink smoother rum. You will drink no smoother rum than Angostura 1919. Ooh. Okay, so
They haven't met docs.
if they believe this is smooth, they do not have paved roads.
Well, they may not. There are many islands in the Caribbean where they do not have paved roads. So that's a fair
Can we
critique.
go ahead and point that out?
Yeah.
This is like the airplane landing strip that's in an open field.
So you're saying that came in,
It's that
with
kind
a-
of smooth
with
landing.
a shipment of a few kilos of something else.
I
Colombian
just want to say, I'm not trying to make a case for this being great, but I don't find it nearly as offensive as you do. I'm sitting here continuing.
No,
It's
I have no
continuing to
time for
sip
this.
mine.
I mean,
that
I'm
was the third
sipping
sip,
it.
and I'm over it.
I'm sipping it. I can drink it. I'm not. It's not the worst thing I've ever drank.
Would you
I
put
have
it in
drank worse
cocktails?
rum.
Okay, let me go ahead and point
but
this
that
out.
was my next question. Was cocktail.
This is what it makes me think. If I was to sit and have a few of these over an evening, even if I could tolerate that taste, that's what it would taste like the next day every time I belched and or
This from the guy who is Malorted as Terry.
Yes,
I'd just like
I know,
to point
I
that
know,
out.
Yeah, there is a certain
This
flavor
has-
in it that stands out.
a certain this has a certain astringent malortness to it.
Oh, that's
Yeah, dude, it's
a
like-
low blow.
I don't feel like if they had a clear rum, it would be as tolerable as this.
I feel like if we kept this in reserve and popped it out on people, they would think they were malorted.
Oh no, it's not
It's
that
not
bad.
that
Not at all that bad.
It's not that bad.
When I
And
go
it
to-
might
This
taste-
is terrible rum, my friend.
It might taste good in drinks. It might mixed in something. Cocktails might be able to help it out. But
Listen, this would lower the quality of the Kool-Aid you put it in.
Oh my God! You really don't like this.
It's terrible. I can't get it out of my mouth. I need to go shave my tongue.
Well, fortunately for you, we have coming up on the program a drink called Fractional BA Kitchen Sink. It's a barrel-aged ale that is a combination of Imperial Stout and barley wine. So that'll help you.
That sounds delicious.
Maybe that'll help you palate cleanse. In the meantime, for my friend Ian, is there any more of that goats in the machine left?
No, it's okay. I've got the shiner here.
Okay.
you got the shiner.
All right. Well, we'll do what we can to try to help you out there. I'm really surprised.
You can get some of
that
last week's rum from. There's some in the kitchen. From,
that would do it.
From David Skinner.
This is not. Oh, this might be one of the worst
I feel like
rums
there are
we've had.
cheaper and worse rums out there. This is
Well, it's so
not.
interesting.
Yeah.
Now
I have a
listen. My dad loved rum, okay, and my dad was not picky when it came to rum. If it had a plastic bottle and a ship on it, he was happy. Okay, I'm not pointing any specific brands.
Did he ever pass on from father to son? How do you deal with a drunken sailor?
Well, I know how he did it.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah.
But even those rums, I don't remember them being this clingy. This is
Wow. I haven't seen Ian get this averse to something in a while.
I agree with you, Terry.
I mean,
this has really
averse,
rocked his world here, and not in a good way.
Yeah,
This would-
especially something that wasn't a beverage of mystery.
it's
Right,
not good.
While we have a moment left in this segment here, I just want to share with you guys that there's been a lot of gloom and doom recently about the status of the craft beer market. And it's true, there have been a lot of craft breweries have closed. Some continue to close. There are also, though, some opening. But here is a very interesting article. The craft beer market was valued at $28.2 billion in 2023. By 2025, it is estimated it will reach $36.4 billion. Wow. No, I'm sorry. I read the wrong line. $39.5 million as a
even
market.
more.
The market size is expected to continue slow but steady growth, which I think is really encouraging. If you think back to like the cigar biz, there was this cigar boom of the 90s. And it was good in many ways because a lot of people, myself included, got more interested in smoking cigars and stayed once the boom was gone. It was bad in some ways because prices went up, tobacco became harder to find for people trying to, really do good stuff, and a lot of inferior products came on the market. But when it all shook out, the market for the cigar business was much stronger and much more oriented towards quality. And that's kind of what I see happening in craft beer here. It's gone through its headwinds.
Let's talk about that for a second because I feel like what's going on with the craft breweries. So you had this big boom of them, right? There's so many popping up everywhere, and everyone's trying to figure out where their niche in the market is, right? And then some people really figured it out, and some people didn't. Those people aren't around anymore,
right?
And even if it was a great brewery, if you don't have the market sense to figure out how to make your brewery viable, it's not going to work.
It makes me think of Ingenious Brewing. I loved
they were
their
amazing.
Beers. Their beers were so good. They were so experimental. They
no
were so
market
interesting,
sense whatsoever.
But they did not anticipate the market. And then you have a more, let's say, conservative brewery like St. Arnold continued to grow
and continues to grow.
And now they are getting more experimental and able to do that because of the base that they've got laid behind them, and the fact that they know their Art Car IPA sells, and they know that their different stuff that they release, on an annual basis is going to sell and do well. And these guys, I love them. We need to have them on the show again. They are the brilliant example of how to do it in craft beer. All right, we have to take a break. The craft beer market is strong, and we are going to make it stronger by drinking a little more of it. Coming up on the show, plus drinking news is around the corner. It's Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back at Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars.
I had to go mouthwash with some shaving cream to get rid of that rum.
I just want
taste.
to point out, by the way,
With shade.
I know you didn't like this rum, but this rum came from Trinidad and Tobago. And if you've ever watched the Miss Universe pageant, Miss Trinidad and Tobago is always stunning.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
so I'm just saying, the islands have a reputation for creating great things.
I love my mom, but she didn't make good rum. I'm gonna point that out.
Well, how about the beer though? How about craft? How about craft? We've had some good craft beers on the show today.
Yes, we have.
And we were
That's
talking
true.
in the last segment about how the craft beer industry, the market, after having a lot of naysayers over the past year, craft beer is done. The bubble has burst.
So here's what's happening. If you look at the way the market trend is gonna work on this, you got craft beer came in. Well, the last thing I said was you had this whole thing boom. Not everybody figured out how to work it, and they closed down. And then on top of that, with the added complication of the whole pandemic going on, and a lot of people didn't survive it, and that sucks. And there were some great breweries that didn't survive it, but there's a lot of the breweries that didn't know how to market it that didn't survive it as well.
Right.
Now, it's been enough years. We have enough breweries in place to where everyone kind of sees the model of how each one works. There are breweries like in town, like Walking Stick.
Mm-hmm.
Walking Stick, most of what they make, as far as I can tell, is from their tap room.
Mm-hmm.
They exist for their tap room. They exist for the neighborhood. I don't know that I've ever seen their beers, or maybe once I've seen them at a local restaurant, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Across the street from them, you got Great Heights.
Mm-hmm.
Great Heights makes a good bit of money from their tap room. They have events. They have all kinds of good stuff going on, but they also are pushing their beers outside of there.
And they're doing a good job
Right.
because they're getting it.
So
they're showing up in a lot of restaurants,
have-
and you can buy Great Heights beer in Specs and Total Wine.
Well, you have two separate models there now.
Right.
And then you go to someone like Buckle Bunny.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Buckle Bunny. Eureka Heights
Eureka
makes
Heights,
Buckle
yep.
Bunny, and most of what they make is off of their beers, and Lone Pine as
Yep.
well. Their tap room is on top of what
It's
they do,
secondary
but it's
to
certainly
what-
not the bulk of what they're making. And so there's your next model, and then you have an even bigger craft brewery like St. Arnold's, and that they could survive. Like if their whole place shut down and all they did was make beer, they're fine.
Yeah, right.
And they
Right.
have an elaborate tap room and restaurant and
They
everything
do,
else.
and it's wonderful.
It
But
is. Their pizza's even especially good.
all the food there is
Yeah.
good. Yeah. But you're 100% right.
So now, when new places open up, they have those models to figure out what are they going to be.
Right. What is our
Right. They don't have to
posture
flop
going to be?
around and figure out what's going to work. They can actually go, we're going to model it after this. We're going to be a local tap room, or we're going to be a local with some distribution.
Absolutely,
Or we're
yeah.
going to be distributing beer, but we'll have a tap room as well.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll be, try and be the biggest thing they can be. And that's all those are great. But now you at least have a model to work after. And of course, having that business plan up front makes a big difference in how well you can maintain your business.
And it continues to be the case that macro beer is losing market share to craft. Now, macro beer is still way bigger.
It's absurd when we say it's losing market share. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about what did they go from 5% of the market that they don't have to 7% of the market?
Right. They still have the
I mean, it's
lion's share
literally
of the
like those
market.
numbers are crazy, right?
But there's no denying which direction it's going.
Yes.
And it has caused, over the last 15 years or so, the major breweries to see about getting into the craft scene. Now, interestingly enough, some of them, when things quote-unquote slowed down, kind of started divesting themselves.
Sold them back.
Yeah, sold them back. There's been a number of situations like that.
I think the whole, and I haven't watched the market or researched this, but it feels like the macro brew buying the microbrew has slowed down substantially.
It has. Now, there have been cases of larger craft breweries buying other
yes,
craft breweries.
like Boston
Beer buying Dogfish Head.
Yes,
Yeah, or
which I think is brilliant, by the way.
and there was just an announcement not too long ago about Dry Dock and Left Hand breweries are merging. They're
Oh,
both
nice.
around the same size. They're merging into one operation.
Now, we had a few breweries here in town, 11 Below being one of them. 11 Below makes brilliant seasonals, by the way, and some great all year round beers, but the brilliant seasonals. But them, I think, and 3 other breweries are now in one building.
Right. So even though they've maintained separation, they're able to combine some of their
Yes,
operations.
they get to use some of the share equipment. They can do all that stuff.
Really cool.
And they can share overhead, which is the biggest thing.
Well, I think it's really cool seeing what's happening in the craft beer market because to me, this is like the proving ground. It's like, okay, who was legit enough to stay? And that doesn't mean I don't miss some of these breweries that have bailed on us, that have gone, the way of the dodo, as they say. But it is interesting to see. My understanding is that St. Arnold. We were talking about St. Arnold, which is the oldest craft brewery in Texas and our biggest craft brewery here in our hometown of Houston. My understanding is that through all of the times when craft beer numbers were down over the past year, St. Arnold was continuing to grow.
But they've since the early 90s, they've been crushing it on the scene.
And they've just done it in a really smart way. They've not overextended themselves. They've not gone crazy with
Houston,
wacky beers that are interesting, but no one will really want to buy.
Houston needed St. Arnold's too because Brock, the guy that started St. Arnold's, broke down so many of those barriers that were stopping people from opening a brewery. Because back in the 90s, you couldn't just go open a brewery.
Correct, yeah.
You couldn't.
Correct.
I mean, legally, you just couldn't.
Yeah, and you're right. He has campaigned and has won some victories for.
He did all the paperwork.
rights of
He did it
brewers.
first. He showed everybody how to do it. He literally paved the way here in Texas.
Hats off to Brock. We salute you with one of your banger IPAs, which, by the way, is
That's a good IPA.
really good. Yeah. All right, we have to take a break. Guess what, friends? Drinking News is next. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Smoking and Toasted. We are proud to be with you for show number 442, and we have been tasting some interesting things. Terry and I like this rum a little more than Ian did. Ian has basically
A little more than I
He
did.
threw his glass out the window.
remove it from my sight. I can't work like this, was what he said during the break. So apologies for that. But I got a little.
I was going to
here.
move into a different studio for the rest of the show.
That's probably not a terrible idea. But right now it's time for us to get to the most popular segment on this program. It's where we bring you a story from the news that is true, at least so far as we know. It's not a parody or made up, but it is, in fact, a story that often involves drinking, not always, but is always best enjoyed if you've been drinking. And while we've been drinking cheap rum, we've still been drinking. It's time for Drinking News.
Drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news. A Florida man with one arm said he had a gator for a pet. When asked about his absent arm, he said,
I had to take my gator to the vet.
drinking news, drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news.
Cheers, y'all. And shout out to Keegan.
Gotta miss that guy.
Wherever he is.
That's right.
I don't know. I think he's
Scuba
teaching
diving.
scuba lessons or something.
Yes.
Scuba diving.
Before we get to our main story on today's Drinking News, I'd like to begin with a question and a sound effect. So it's so interesting because you dropped the cap there to get the sound effect, but before you did, I saw a drop of the most viscous, thick, dark liquid hit the deck, and it was
I
kind
don't
of
know
like
what brewery this is, but they're right next to Motorola.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
They're not Motorola, but Mobile, sorry.
Mobile
But
oil.
before we get to our main story on today's Drinking News, I would like to begin with a question: Have you ever accidentally?
Yes. Oh, no.
Never have I ever.
Have you ever accidentally damaged something very expensive at your job? God knows I have.
I
Yes.
feel like I had to have. I do remember one time when someone poured a whole cup of coffee into a board at a radio station.
Yeah. See. So if you have, or
that's pretty
you've
expensive.
been around like something like that, you know that feeling. But the feeling that a
That's a terrible
a
feeling.
32-year-old firefighter in Southeast China wound up feeling recently was slightly different. In an incident that's totally worthy of inclusion here on Drinking News, this Chinese man was out one night with a buddy, and they were, shall we say, enjoying some adult beverages.
Imbibing.
a lot of adult beverages. And so by the time our Chinese man returned to the firehouse, he was drunk. Really drunk. And because no great drinking news story starts with someone ordering a salad, I'll bet you can guess what bright idea our inebriated firefighter came up with.
Hold my beer.
If you guessed grabbing the keys and taking the fire department's new $500,000 fire truck out for a spin, congratulations.
Oh, that's a good idea. Right
That's
there.
exactly what our drunken Chinese man did.
Wasn't that
That's way better than stopping at Taco Cabana on the way home.
Wasn't that the plot of Stripes?
When they pulled him from the wreckage, he was found to be
Oh, wow.
3 times over the legal limit.
Oh,
The man told his fellow firefighters, "I am sorry. I just wanted to see green fields and trees." He will now have plenty of time to look at those green fields because he finds himself, unsurprisingly, unemployed.
Wow.
And I'm guessing he'll be that way for a while. Can you imagine having to answer the question, so, yes, sir, why did you leave your last job?
That also, can I just say, that is the worst reason to steal a fire truck.
Right.
I want to go see green fields and trees. No, I want to drive a truck that can blast through anything
Right.
and has lights and sirens
And is longer
a ladder.
than a city block.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, that's why you want to drive a fire truck, not to get out to the country and have a
I just
picnic.
wanted to
What?
take the hose for a ride. The fire hose. The fire hose.
But our main
Not
story
what
on
you guys were thinking.
Our main story on today's drinking news is a bit more inspiring, and we may hearken back to your comment. It's the story of American track star Chris Robinson, who in a recent competition
The Black Crow?
suffered a wardrobe malfunction that made Janet Jackson's look like not such a big deal by comparison.
Oh, no.
Robinson was running in the 400-meter hurdles at the Ostrava Golden Spike meet in Czechia and pulling into the lead when his running shorts moved in such a way
Oh, no.
that all of his junk slipped out into clear view.
He was rocking out with his
Yes.
out.
Robinson realized his private parts had become fully exposed as he ran and began to repeatedly try to adjust his shorts while still running at top speed.
Man, look at that guy go.
Now, I don't know if
Hey, maybe that was his plan on how to win the race.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to get a part of you past the line first.
I don't know if you've ever had something like this happen
He's
to
got to
you.
mystify your enemies, right?
Yeah.
That's why the tick yelled spoon,
Yeah,
right?
they'll be
to
hypnotized.
confuse,
Yeah.
to confuse them.
Now, I don't know if you've ever had something like this happen to you, but if you have, you probably know that trying to adjust your clothing to tuck your vaulting pole back into your shorts while running at full speed is pretty much next to impossible. And when he realized his adjustments were not going to work, Robinson then ignored the embarrassment and let it all hang out, literally, while he
Gotta win the
focused
race.
on simply winning the race, which he amazingly still did with a mark of 48.05 seconds.
Well, I mean, did he shave it off to make it more aerodynamic?
While this time did manage to narrowly beat Brazil's Matheus Lima, the victory was amazingly close. Robinson beat Lima by a stunningly narrow 0.06 seconds.
What is that in length?
And while he did win the race, Robinson did
He
not
won
have
by a nose.
He did not have his best time ever. He came in 1/10 of a second slower than his overall best. But still, this was
He had a drag.
Were they
This-
wearing shorts from the 1980s? What was this, like a Commodore's video or
It was-
something? Lady.
still this was an
Speedos can break.
Still, this was an incredible feat. And while I am in no way any kind of an athlete, I have to admit, I find this track star's story incredibly
Hey,
inspiring.
this is going back to the original Olympic Games, right?
Yeah, which didn't they play those in the nude?
Yes.
Yeah,
There
you
I
go.
think so.
He was being even more traditional.
Well, I'm certainly not any kind of an athlete, but I do find this particular track star story just incredibly inspiring. And as you may already know, if you're a regular listener here to Drinking News, when I become inspired, I often feel that I have no choice but to express my inspiration by writing a few lines of poetry or prose.
While drunk.
And so, despite the better mental health judgment of my therapist, who's on vacation this week, so there's a good chance he won't hear this, and I find that incredibly liberating, by the way, I'd like to share my poetic musings with you now. Could I have a little poetry, please? And it goes a little something like this. A runner who was trying to get ahead had a bad wardrobe malfunction instead. As his running coach espoused, if he'd only been aroused, he'd have beaten his best time by a head.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Reporting live from Czechia, where I'm glad I've never had my junk fall out of my shorts during a race, because I probably would have tripped. My name is Cruz, and that is your...
Drinking news, drinking news. That's our time for drinking news.
Cheers, y'all. So you thought that was one of my more poetic endeavors?
That was one of your best poems ever.
Oh, okay.
I like that, yeah.
See,
that was good.
You realize you're only encouraging me. You realize you're only
What a
encouraging
crazy
me.
race. Could you imagine being there
Oh,
just
yeah.
watching this happen?
Apparently, by the way, after he won, he just kind of flopped down on the ground and just laid there, still completely exposed,
Just
to the world.
Just to cover.
That's called
Yeah.
splooting, by the way.
Yeah. Or is that what it's called?
Yes,
Splooting?
yes. Well, so animals do that all the time. It's when they lay with the legs splayed
Oh, yeah.
in all four directions, flat on the ground on their belly.
Terry, could we hear today's sound effect again?
Okay. Hang on. I have to pull it up. I didn't put it on the high.
Sorry, I didn't warn you about this, but I'm just thinking that this sound.
This might be the. Where's my folder? And
Yeah.
here we go.
This is losing impact
Body
steadily, but go ahead.
There you go.
Yeah. See, I thought originally that was a body hitting the floor, but that may have been our track star hitting the ground with his junk still exposed. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, so. You got to know he was not at all unproud of what he had to offer, or he would have, wouldn't have just laid there.
Well,
with it still exposed.
there are certain people that will do certain things for I mean, he probably got a prize at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, this is rent. I mean, I don't care if you see my weenie, this is rent.
Here's the thing. Dedication to your craft, my
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm excited about tasting this. I have a feeling that Ian has
Talking
already
about
begun.
letting them hang.
Yeah, that's right. Let it all hang out. This beer we're about to taste from Three Sons Brewing is described
like
on the
syrup.
bottle as a blend of imperial stout and barley wine ale, aged in Blanton's and Stag Junior barrels for 34 months before being conditioned on coconut coffee, Ugandan vanilla, Puerto Rico cacao nibs, and dark maple syrup. There's nothing in that doesn't sound amazing. Ian, you have tasted. Your thoughts?
Let's talk about the mouthfeel for a moment.
Can you say it smells like syrup?
You ever hold a gummy bear in your mouth for just a little bit too long?
And it starts to decompose?
Yes, that is about the mouthfeel of this.
Almost solid, you're saying.
It's like when you have Jell-O, and you've kind of chewed it up a little bit, but then it's also kind of melting in your mouth.
Like the girl at the end of Ferris Bueller's, I have some gummy bears, but they've been in my pocket all day, so they're nice and warm. Here,
Yeah.
you want some?
This is like one of the biggest mouthfeels I've had. Like, this is literally the consistency of used motor oil.
Yeah. Reminds me of my third date with Cindy Porter.
And I don't know what that means. Anyway, it's pretty viscous, and it's delicious.
I was going to say, but what do you think about the flavor, about
It's
the taste?
viscous and delicious.
Viscous and delicious.
See, this is where Ian tells me that I like sweet things, but then he likes this. This is so sweet. It's so
Okay, so
delicious
it
and
is
sweet.
true. It is true. I like sweet beers,
It
apparently.
is sweet. I mean,
Especially when they're
do you
like,
get Do you get
Barley
more
wine
stout vibe from this or barley wine vibe?
I get the stout takes over. There's a lot of coffee going on there. The stout takes over a little bit, but the barley wine is there. Then the barley wine, I think, is adding that sweetness that you're used to.
The
Because stouts
cacao
aren't
is
always that
almost on-
sweet.
The cacao is almost on the finish.
Yeah. The cacao on the finish is almost like a cocoa powder that's like cocoa powder aftertaste, you know? It's really, really interesting, and it's very present on the retrohale. This is absolutely delicious. I would drink this floating down the river. I would have to pour this into a Camelback though, because you can't bring a glass bottle.
Does it say what the ABV is on this? 'Cause I'm thinking it's like
it's
90.
big.
Every time he says that floating down the river, I just picture milk was a bad idea in Anchorman.
This is coming in at 13%.
13. Wow. That's a pretty serious.
I need to have a barley wine
Stout
song. Like he has a
barley
Scotch
wine.
song, right?
Yeah,
I need to have a barley wine song.
I like Scotch, Scotchy, Scotch, Scotch.
Put it in my belly.
You do need a barley wine song. That would
You
be
do. Barley wine song.
That would be a good thing for you. Ian's such a fan of barley wines that when I find a new one somewhere that we haven't tried on the show before, I always get excited because I know you're going to be
I
excited.
love barley wines. This is
Yeah.
good. There's a little of a wine kind of feel to it too, and I think it's because of the viscousness of the mouthfeel. It's so big. Like every time you take a sip, it takes like 2 swallows to even process it. Right?
Right. So the name of this beer is Fractional BA Kitchen Sink. And I guess they mean that because they threw everything in here. Barrel-aged ale with coconut, coffee, vanilla, cacao, and maple. And then they talked about aging it in Blanton's barrels, which you can kind of taste
Blanton's
that.
and Stag Junior. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, it's bourbony.
It is. It's
And
very bourbon.
like bourbon flavor. This is like what when you buy that the Jack Daniel's barbecue sauce. This is what you want it to taste like.
Yeah.
In fact, I would just use this as barbecue sauce. You could also pour this on pancakes.
Speaking
I'm
of barbecue
convinced.
sauce, and
Yes.
not a sponsor, but listen, if you're not from Texas and you want good barbecue sauce, stop at Rudy's next time you're driving through. They have the best barbecue sauce.
They really do.
It is not the best barbecue.
Not the best barbecue, but they are
but
definitely
their
the
barbecue
best
sauce.
barbecue
is
sauce.
great.
No question. All right, we got to take a break, and we will be right back. You are listening to and watching Smoking Toast. Welcome back to Smoking and Toasting. We are all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. What was the matter? You were holding up the pretzels.
Oh, I was just looking at our timesheet.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know what it said at the bottom. It says after show promo ?
Oh, okay. Well, it's good to know that we're still questioning the after show promo. It's the Smoking and Toast, and our show's all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. We've had some interesting things on the show today. We had a story about a beer laced with Malort, and yes, I'm going to use the word laced from now on. Laced with Malort. But we also had a rum that Ian really didn't like. Terry and I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah. But Ian did not like it.
No.
But now what I want to do is I want to go back from this ale, which is barley wine and stout mixed, which you absolutely loved.
There's even almost a winish color at the very top of this. Like right where the liquid meets the glass.
You know how we talk about, how the beer will leave like the suds kind of on the side?
Lacing, yeah.
Lacing. It's not so much lacing as it is coloring that this leaves on the side of the cup. Leaves a kind
It
of
does,
a
it does.
amber coloring. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to go back from this back to the rum. And so I forced
I
you.
have to?
I forched you to bring your rum back out. Because I want to see what you think about this. So
All
go
right.
from the beer.
Oh, it smells like even cheaper rum now.
Thoughts?
Well, the beer has knocked out most of what flavor the rum had and leaves it with just kind of a
Kind of an alcohol burn.
alcohol-y, sugary blandness to it almost.
Blandness is how
Which
you describe
might
it.
be better. Oh, see, there's that aftertaste. Oh,
It came back to haunt you. did
oh, see, I just got it off my tongue too.
it? We realize why I'm here.
Did you just malorted me?
Yeah, I did. I just malorted you in my own way. And by the way, we're nowhere close to even. Thank you, sir. Nowhere even close. Going
I
back to the-
malort a guy 4 times, and he gets all weird with
Yeah.
it.
Not at all.
It was George W. Bush who once famously said, "Malort me once, shame on you. Malort me twice, fool me won't get fooled again."
Won't get fooled again.
What do you think going back to the beer after the...
I think, thank God.
I think it's pretty good.
Well, it definitely brings out the
Yeah.
bourbony notes in the beer.
Yeah, it definitely does. In fact, the beer is, to be honest, a little more, not that this beer could ever be one-dimensional, but it leans more in that direction after the rum.
This is good beer. I'm not going to drink that rum anymore.
So I will say, the rum to the beer, I don't like that. The beer to the rum wasn't bad, but the rum to the beer, I don't like that so
It
much.
brings out coffee to me when you go from rum to the beer.
Right.
It's
It makes
a lot
the
of
beer
coffee-ish.
simpler.
Yes,
And this
yes.
beer is not meant to be simple.
No.
This beer is meant to be complex and crazy and over the top and juicy and boozy
And
Yeah.
boy, is it.
yeah, and it really is. This is, I don't know how hard of a time you guys will have finding this, but Three Sons Brewing Company.
Look at the color of the glass that is
I like how-
left here.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, the coloring on the sides. It says on the bottle, aged, so you don't have to drink fresh. Which is interesting because, like, when you see a lot of the
Yeah.
IPA bottles and stuff, they'll talk about drinking fresh.
I mean,
and how
in the
that's
bottom of
important.
the glass, it looks a little more like melted chocolate
Melted
ice cream.
caramel or something, yeah.
I'm for it.
That's a good beer. It was also extremely expensive.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. So,
I bet. Was it like 40-ish
yes,
for the bottle?
yes, it was in fact in that range. Yes.
Wow.
For a 750 mil.
Yeah, it's it's not a small bottle, but it's
No, but this is the kind of beer that you buy. You buy one and you share it and you talk about it.
and this is a 2025 blend, so it's not like this has been aging for a long time.
It's quite good.
It's a
I would-
500 milliliter bottle, 12% ABV,
Oh, 500 mil, yeah.
and it says unconventional beer for unconventional palates. And I would agree with that.
I bet. It would be interesting. It would be expensive, but it would be interesting to have this after a year on it.
Right, to have some
You
cellared
know,
and
have a
come
little
back
bit of
to
a
it.
cellared condition.
I wonder if I think it would just be boozier though, don't you?
Maybe, but sometimes those flavor blends, although it does say it's aged already, so I don't know. Mm-hmm. It says drink fresh, so you take their word for it.
Well, not only was this expensive, but apparently expensive cigars are becoming more and more a thing among regular cigar smokers. Cigar lovers are smoking higher and higher end stogies even as prices go up.
I'm going to tell you something funny. Me and Alan went out for a cigar. We were over at CDOT. This was about a month ago. And he picked out a couple cigars to smoke while we were hanging out. And I picked out one. I got the Oscar Gomez from McAuliffe. And it was $17 for my one cigar.
Right.
And he paid, I think, $20 to $22 for his two. Right? My cigar lasted for the length of both of his cigars. I actually spent less money.
So you smoked one cigar while he smoked one and then
while
lit
he
another
smoked
one.
two. We were laughing about it. It
Wow.
was like, I actually saved money by buying the $17 cigar.
And how not to do a whole review, but how was it worth the money?
Oh, it's an absolutely fantastic cigar.
So-
It comes in a little canoe. Mm-hmm. If you see it, it's so good.
What's interesting to me is that people are paying more. I have a great little sort of antique sign in my apartment that I got from an antique shop somewhere, and it says cigars 5 cents. And cigars used to be more of that kind of a thing, but not only are kind of the mid-level things, the ones like I smoke most often, moving from the $7 to the $9 category now. But you're seeing more and more $18, $19, $20, $21, $22 cigars routinely coming out. And I just, I don't know, it's interesting because cigar smokers
Well,
seem to be embracing them.
But super premiums are already starting at like $14 to $16 now. Like a premium cigar is up to like
See, I remember there was
$9
a
to
time.
$15 or something.
There was a time, like earlier in the show, not today's show, but earlier in the history of the show, when I would have told you a $10 to $12 cigar was a super premium.
Yeah, no, they start at like $16.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, we'll continue to smoke them, tell you about them, and we'll spin so you don't have to until we give you the thumbs up. And in the meantime, thank you, sir, for all of your contributions to the program. Thanks to Terry Michaels, who is on the Wheels of Steel, to Adam in the Sky, who puts everything together in post, and thanks to Shane Ivers at Chosic.com, who gave us the Visitor, which is our beverage of mystery music. And thanks to you guys for listening. We appreciate it. We'll be back here with you next week for another show of ridiculousness. Have a wonderful week. Keep on smoking and drinking, and cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all.
Here's y'all.
First you say you can, then you say you can't. You don't want to take a chance.